At Zutari, one of the things that we strive to do in making a difference in people's lives, whether it's through economic life or through the environment or in the communities that we live, is to think about how we can engineer the impact that we want. Current ways or traditional ways of doing things is more on a static basis. This is now moving more in a more dynamic way of doing things. It's about how we can implement digital solutions in terms of engineering, from how we actually design, how we analyze things, how we optimize our work using computer-aided methods to come and bring about how this is done. Take, for example, how if you want to ensure that the building that you're building, you can also create a digital twin for it. So from pre-construction, you're using technology to map what's going on on the building. During construction, the way you're going to construct it, because you were able to visualize it in using 3D modeling at the beginning, it makes the construction phase easier. And then on the other hand, post-construction, you find yourself that you now have a digital twin of the building that you've constructed, and it allows you to be able now to interact with that building in a more different way than if it was just a static piece of equipment. We tend to be very traditional in our approach, very risk averse, and that alone makes the transformation to digital to take a little bit longer than it should. You have to move away from a traditional way of doing something to a more digital space. It means there's a lot of trust that you need to have in order for you to do that. You can just imagine that you used to design this thing using your hand and your brain. You know it's predictable and you can there's transparency in what you're doing. Now you have to rely on software and hardware to do that. If there's a glitch in that software, then your design is going to be, suspect. So the trust level is taking longer to get to that. But that's not the only issue that we're facing as engineers. There's another aspect for it. Most of the investments that have gone into this, they still have to show their return. And given where the economy is at the moment, it's not an easy thing to do. The other problem that we face in industry is that you have the older generations who have the knowledge, who have been doing this for a long time, and now we have younger people who are more digitally savvy. How to transfer knowledge from the older generation to the younger people is a challenge that we're facing as an industry, but we don't have a choice. We started a long time ago with cloud computing. And also using the cloud in terms of how we collaborate. We have found ourselves in different parts of the globe. We're in the Middle East, we're in separate parts on the continent. And to work collaboratively, whether amongst ourselves or with our clients, we have gone on the cloud. But other things that we have done in the way in which we capture data for various purposes, now we're able to give a building a life, a pulse, to bring a heart to the building by putting sensors around it. Using mobile smart technologies, we're able now to map a network. Most people have assets, but they don't know where their assets are. We're now able to look at an asset. We can map it in terms of taking vertical pictures around it using drones. So we have a physical structure of how you look at the building, and so clients are better able to understand whether the structure and integrity of the structure is there. But we also use technology to go inside the building in terms of mapping it from a scanning point of view to give you an as-is build of how your building looks like using those kind of technologies. Now we're able to give our clients with a 3D model with augmented reality. They can actually visualize the space in which we have designed for them, make some changes as if it's a complete asset. By the time the asset is built, then everybody is happy because it now responds exactly to the way they had imagined when they designed it. Ultimately, what we do as Zutari is we make a difference to people's lives, because how you design a building also speaks to how you use that space. That's what we do as Zutari, to make a difference to people.